All right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit because we have to change the camera in between people. But by the way, there's 2 seats here up front. You people in the back, you can come watch the comedy up close. We promise, like it doesn't, like they're not gonna make fun of you. This is Austin. We're like pretty cool people here. Like it's all right. So this next comic coming to the stage. I always love seeing him because he always says something different, and it's always really, really interesting. One of the most interesting storytellers that I've seen in Austin. Guys, give me a big round of applause for Jesse Hensley, guys. Jesse Hensley.
Get going for Justin, everybody, and Yusef. Crushing. I don't do that. I just like steal jokes occasionally. I am from Northeast Texas, so that's why I talk like this, and I do apologize up front. I've got a lot of time to do, so I'm going to just get it out of the way. On behalf of me and my people, we are very sorry, and we'll try to do better next time. It was cool growing up in Northeast Texas. Like I had a weird, it's pretty stereotypical. Like my parents are good people. Well, my dad's, he's a piece of shit. But like my mom's a good person. But like my dad trips me out. I have these fun memories. I was thinking about this the other day. The only time I've ever seen my dad cry was back in 2001. And it wasn't for the reason that like most of us cried in 2001 because of 9/11. His was back in February 18th, and it was the day that Dale Earnhardt died. My dad cried harder than I've only seen him cry once. And this is the best part of this. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting on the couch and I was like eating. It's Sunday, and he's watching NASCAR because those are his rules at his house. Like I said, he's a pretty big asshole. Never fun. But we're watching it, and as soon as Dale Earnhardt's car like hits and goes into the wall, like before the announcers could even say, "Oh, Dale Earnhardt done hit the wall," my dad stood up, tear forming in his eye, and he's dead. Oh shit, he's fucking dead. I watched my dad just pace back and forth. I'm like, Dad is crazy. Like, Dad is nuts. We need to put him in a home already. And about 5 minutes later, the announcers come on and they're like, "Folks, we have some terrible news. Dale Earnhardt's fucking dead." And I just looked at my dad. I was like, "What kind of white trash magic did we sign up for when I was born?" Because that is impressive. It's insane. It's 100% true. Like anything I say on stage, not 100%. Let's go 99. Just to kind of clear me of legal stuff. But like, you're gonna hear some things. I'm gonna tell you a lot of these stories are like memories that I just started telling on stage because I found out I was a shitty joke writer, and that I've had a way cooler life than anything I could create on stage. So I'll just tell y'all about that. You guys ever go to weird places on the internet? And I'm not talking about just like normal weird places on the internet. Like, you guys ever, maybe not get depressed, but just like you end up getting depressed? Like you spend so long and you go so far through so many links that you end up on like David Koresh's Wikipedia page for a while. That happened to me. Happened to me so hard the other day. But here's what, like, honestly, like, if it was just left at that, if I just had to, like, know that I read that once, I'd feel bad enough, right? But I can move on with my life. But I found out some shit that I didn't know before that will always change the way I see David Koresh. And because I have to deal with that, you guys have to deal with that now. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story about David Koresh. First off, his name's not David Koresh. He changed it to that. His name was Vernon Howe, and one day he decided he wanted to get pussy. So he was like, David is the hottest. I don't know what he thought. Like, he changed it. But before he was ever a cult leader in Waco, he was like a regular preacher. He was in like the minor leagues for cults, and he was just being a regular Baptist preacher. It was dope. Right, it's a story, it's a good story. Like, it's very inspiring. I love the thought that in any business, you work hard enough, like, you're just a phone call away. Like, hey, we're ready. Jim Jones just did his thing. We need a new one, Step up. It's your time. But David Koresh was just a regular preacher, and he had this, like another church down the road that I call it a rival church because I love rivalries so much, and it just makes everything better. So they hated each other, they really did, because they, like, church members, if they didn't like one thing said, they would go next Sunday to the other church, and they would just go back and forth. But this other preacher was even crazier than David Koresh, and nobody talks about like this guy provoking David Koresh into everything that ever happened. But like David Koresh would get phone calls from this other preacher in the middle of the night and be like, hello? He's like, hey David, this is Pastor Troy. I just want to let you know I'm way more God than you. What are you gonna do about that? He's like, dude, it's 3 a.m. I'm not doing shit. Leave me alone, please. I'm just trying to run a good, healthy church here. And the other pastor would just do this. Like every night he'd call him and be like, hey bitch, it's me, God. Just kidding, it's Pastor Troy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So this goes on long time. And David Koresh is always real chill about it. Like, which is the funniest thing, because even Wikipedia is like, no, David Koresh was pretty chill about the whole thing. Like he actually didn't go off the handle. He was impressive. And but like this goes on for a while, and then eventually this guy calls David Koresh up again, and instead of like explaining to him that he's more God like he always does, he's just like, I'm gonna prove it to you. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go dig up a dead body, and then I'm gonna put it in my church, and you're gonna come over here, and the first one to raise him from the dead gets to be God forever. Like honestly, that's not a bad plan. Like it's fucked up, right? But like, if one of them could do that, I feel like we're missing out by not having that opportunity. If God's just walking around and we can't dig up because it's weird, but like God's weird, so I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I've digressed. So he calls David Koresh up, he tells him this plan, and David Koresh, being the fucking gangster that he is, just stops and he says, sounds great, bet, I'll be there. And this guy fucking goes and digs up a goddamn dead body and brings it to his church, and he calls David Koresh back and says, hey, I got the dead body, it's in the basement. You coming? You're 15 minutes away. You're gonna do this? You're gonna do this? Can I be more God than you? What? And David Koresh is like, fuck yeah, I'm on the way, bitch, I'll see you in 15. Hangs up, picks the phone back up, and calls 911. It's like, hey, there's a guy with a dead body in a church right now, and I'm not talking shit about churches, but we all know how those people are with dead bodies. They're weird. Alright, so you gotta send somebody down there. Swear to God. Best part of that story is the cops looked at their caller ID and they said, is this you, Vernon? Because this is... Stop calling us, alright? Apparently he was a bit of a prankster. They did not go down there and check that out. So I guess if you guys are interested in digging up a dead body, you can probably get away with it. I don't know what the moral to this story is, but like I do know that you can't look at David Koresh and be like, that guy's insane. Because no, he's fucking brilliant. All right, he's smart, and even if you don't like cults or churches, I get it, it's the same thing. But you just need to respect smart people. All right, that guy was interesting. I'm sorry I tried to sell y'all so hard on that. Like I'm telling you, like I like him now, and I feel so guilty about it, just because of that one thing. Like yeah, I know he fucking did a lot of weird shit, but so did no, I'm not even gonna try to go there. Fuck David Koresh. You know he's a bad guy. Anyways, let's go to the next non-cult story that I have for you guys. Let's see. Oh, I'll tell you about the first time I smoked weed. Anybody in here smoke weed ever? A lot of our stories are similar. We get into these things and we talk about it, and everybody's story is very similar. Mine's not that different, but I do have something in mind that makes it just fucking insane to me, and I'll tell you guys. Just like you guys, I smoked weed. I remember I was with my friends, and I didn't know anything about drugs at all. Like I had drank before, but I remember hitting it a few times because we were smoking out of a pipe, and on the third time around, I looked at my friend and I was like, so when does this kick in? Like, that's not a cool question to ask, alright? So I don't know if weed made me cooler or if I was just always a loser, but I asked that and he's like, pretty instantly. And about that time, like, it kicked in, so I was like, okay, I'm scared. Like, I grew up with asthma, and I ran and got my asthma, like my breathing treatment. Also very cool, ladies. Holler at your boy. So I went and got my breathing treatment. I pussed out for a little bit. I did that. And then finally everything settled down. My friend comforted me. He's like, hey man, I got some good news. Have anybody talked to you about how good food and drinks are when you're high? And I was like, I'm a big food and drink fan, but no, nobody has ever told me that. What? So he's like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go get you some Mexican food and something to drink. What do you want to drink? And I was like, I want a fucking Dr. Pepper. He was like, bet, they got good Dr. Peppers, you're gonna love it. So he goes to the store, he comes back, he gets me a fountain drink, Dr. Pepper, and some Mexican food. I ate the Mexican food, I'm just mind blown, it's the best thing ever. And then I go through the Dr. Pepper, and it's just like even better. Like it's the best thing, like I love Dr. Pepper now. Like I have always loved Dr. Pepper. And I remember just like telling my friends that night like how good the Dr. Pepper was, and I would laugh, and they would look at me like they were mad. and I would just do this over and over. Like I didn't know. I guess I was forgetting that I kept telling him how good the Dr. Pepper was. But next morning I woke up and I didn't have a hangover, and I remember being like, wow, this might be for me. You know, this is a cool thing. I liked it. And I told my friend, I was like, you know, my favorite part was how goddamn good that weed makes Dr. Pepper taste. And he's like, man, you kept telling us that last night, and we were telling you that they were out of Dr. Pepper. We got you 7-Up. So I love Dr. Pepper still, but I hate 7-Up. I won't fuck with 7. That's the devil's drink, you know? Some weird shit going on with that 7-Up. Growing up in East Texas was weird. Actually, it was like an hour away from the Louisiana border. Like it's basically like the Texas version of Duck Dynasty. It's a lot similar. It's scary, but like also kind of amusing. I don't know. Those guys, I get that people are scared of them, but like for me, it's just like, my granddad's crazy, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, crazy granddad. Like, I know they're crazy. I don't know why I mean, but I just really wanted to talk to you guys about Duck Dynasty for a second. I'm going to close with this. Also, it's not very short, so buckle in, because it's going to take a while. Yeah, I like to say that because I grew up in church, and I always appreciate it when the preacher's like, hey, I'm about to wrap this shit up. Don't worry, guys. Growing up in Northeast Texas as a boy, when you got into high school, you had two choices. You could either play football or you could just have a real shitty life. You got to pick though, all right? So they gave me that option. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm still into girls right now. I probably should have a good life to go along with that. So I played football. And it turns out I was good at it. I liked the games, I liked to play, but I hated practices because I've always thought exercise was real dumb, all right? I've just never been a fan. Yeah, it's dumb. Oh, well, you guys look great, so it's a little bit of it's not the same argument, but I just don't like it. I've never liked it. One day I was at football practice, I was really tired, and I was out of breath, and I couldn't breathe, and this guy, like, we were gonna play, and I get knocked down, and he kind of hit me in this side, and I fell like an idiot. And I hit the ground, and I remember thinking, like, this is where, as a man, you're like, no, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna power through. I know it hurts, but I'm just gonna go. And I, instead, faked a knee injury. I grabbed my knee and I said, my knee hurts. Which, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the NFL, but when you get a knee injury, you don't go, my knee hurts. You make a man noise. I said, my knee hurts. But it was believable enough to where the coach said, go to the sideline and rest. I did. He came over to me like 5 or 6 plays later. He's like, Hensley, you ready? And I was like, ready to not be hurting? Yep, absolutely. I would love for this knee not to hurt right now because I want to be out there with you guys practicing. And he was like, oh shit, well this might be serious. Go up to the field house and ice your knee. And I don't really like ice because I usually fuck with warm shit on the regular. But like that was better than running. So I went and iced my knee, I went home. I came back to school the next day, I wasn't thinking about it, and the coach saw me. I guess I was not fake limping when he saw me, because the first thing he said was like, hey Hensley, looks like the knee's doing better. And I was like, yeah man, that's crazy that you say that because it hurts. You know, it hurts so bad. And he was like, oh shit, well then we're gonna have to send you to a physical therapist. And I was like, oh, how far do I want to take this lie personally right now? Because this is starting to get into medical stuff. So right as I was thinking about fessing up, he was like, school pays for it, it's free. I was like, oh, well then just, you know, whatever's best for the team, coach. So I went to the physical therapist, and he looks at my knee, he's like, what, you know what's crazy about this knee? I was like, what? He's like, it looks normal. And I was like, that's crazy because it hurts real bad all the time. And he was like, well, if that's the case, we're gonna have to send you to a real doctor because I'm just a physical therapist. Which I found very honest of him at the time. I was like, that's nice of you to have that kind of awareness. So I went to the real doctor and he was like, well, it looks normal to me too. Let's put you in this MRI. And that's where I should have just stopped. Like honestly, because that's me being a 15-year-old with science staring at me and I'm like, how smart are you really though? I can change this. So I get in the MRI, it comes back, the doctor calls me, he's like, the MRI is completely clean. Like it looks like a good, healthy knee. And I was like, man, that is the worst news because it hurts so bad. And we've got Ore City on Friday and it hurts. You know, I can't even do this. My team needs me. I was just spitting out every cliche I could think. And he bought it, hook, line, and sinker. He was like, well, the next move here to get you better, get you back out there, is to have surgery. We're gonna go in and have surgery. And I was like, God damn it, this is good. This has gone too far. Like, now I'm so far in that I'm gonna look like an asshole, right? But like, I can't have surgery. And he's like, it's actually not that invasive. Really won't even leave any scarring. And I was like, oh, well, in that case, whatever you think's best, doc, you know? Just trying to get back out there with the team. So I fucking had a surgery on my knee. Totally had a surgery on my knee that did not need a surgery. I woke up, my leg was on this machine, my knee is fucking huge, like a grapefruit. I'm like, oh, this shit just got real. real. So the anesthesia wears off and I see my mom and the doctor and I'm like, oh man, because I'm thinking the doctor's gonna look at me and be like, look here, fucker, you can't lie about shit. Like, this is real. My job is a real job, you get that, right? We just put you asleep and cut you open. But no, he was like, hey bud, here, listen, here's what happened. We went in, we found a little bit of loose cartilage, so we went ahead and sucked all that out and cleaned it up. And I was like, thank God that I found that, because I was nervous, you know. I'm glad y'all found something. Now I don't look like a pussy. And he was like, also, it kind of looked like your kneecap may have been upside down, so we went ahead and just fixed it. So yeah. Don't lie. I don't know, like, it hurts, like, for real, since I was 15, my knee hurts, real bad, and I don't even care about the team, just to be honest with you. I don't want to be back there with it. I just want my knee to not hurt ever again. Alright, thank you guys, y'all have been so great. Thank you all for your host, Justin Spector.